Hello and welcome to the BGA webinar, How to Enhance Your Employability and Grow Connections through BGA Student and Graduate Membership. I'm Daniel Kirkland, the Senior Marketing Executive at BGA, and I'd like to introduce our two presenters today, Rachel Freer and Ryan Cattell. Rachel is BGA's Membership Manager and works closely with our student and graduate members, and Ryan is the Head of Customer Success at Integro, the career development platform. Now, without further delay, I'll pass you over to Rachel.
Thank you for those introductions, Dan. And yeah, certainly welcome to today's webinar. We have close to around 300 people registered today. So many of you will be hearing about membership for the first time. And there will be some of you who are already BGA members but want to learn more about what is available. Either way, great chance to get an overview of BGA and learn how the resources can best support you through membership, and also how to navigate these within the Members Hub. I'll also be running a few polls throughout the webinar, so watch out for those. And as Dan mentioned, we're also joined by Ryan today. So he'll be speaking in the second half of the webinar about our most popular resource, the Career Development Centre, and highlighting various learning pathways you can take to develop success in your career. Following both of us speaking, we have allowed some time at the end to hear from you and answer any of your questions. So please feel free to put those in the chat function throughout, and we will address those at the end. I wanted to start by providing you with an overview of membership or professional bodies. What a membership association means: it's a not-for-profit entity which has been created or organised for a charitable, educational, social, or similar purpose. To give you examples of other bodies you might have heard of, your students' union within your university, or if you're studying accounting, you might have heard of Chartered Accountants Association. Regardless of your business specialisation, there's many different benefits of joining a professional body during your degree, not only to support you with your career, but also to help make those career goals while you're still studying. With BGA student membership, one of the benefits is the resources and the tools are designed to develop various areas for you to be a successful business leader. This might be presentations, negotiations, or coaching and leading a team. But I'll highlight those in more detail soon. To help contextualise BGA's position and supporting you to land your desired career and develop important skills along the way, I wanted to highlight the current situation for the labour market right now. This is going to be referencing some research that came out from the World Economic Forum last month. I'm sure it's going to come to no surprise for me to start by saying that the first half of 2020 has seen a significant and unexpected disruption to labour markets worldwide. This has had a knock-on effect of the livelihoods of various individuals and the income of families. The pandemic appears to be deepening existing inequalities across these markets, and they have accelerated the arrival of future of work. Now, not all industries have been equally affected. Among those that are struggling are companies that typically don't hold large cash reserves, such as small to medium enterprises, or businesses in the sectors such as restaurants and hospitality. While some business operations can be resumed remotely, such as those in, say, the retail or the tourism sector, really depend on that in-person contact, have sustained greater damage. This graph that I've got on the screen here helps to highlight what sectors have been most affected from the pandemic. Now, let's have a look at a bit of research for the future outlook for you. Something worth highlighting is the majority of the white-collar workforce, such as the tech and the professional service industries, have rapidly digitalised working processes this year. This includes a significant expansion of remote work. This has already been seen in some of the tech giants, including Facebook, where they've recently announced a 10-year plan to move most of its workforce workforce remotely, and Twitter, encouraging its employers to work from home forever. So the takeaway here is remote working is likely to be incorporated with your future career, and how you can best demonstrate your time management while you're studying at home now can help you to succeed, especially during those interview stages. Another quite interesting impact the pandemic is having on future of work is the recruitment process. Almost all organisations have moved virtual recruitment since March, and many organisations have actually predicted that this is going to be the new way of processing candidates, and it's going to play a large part in the future of the recruitment agencies. Another really interesting topic when considering your future career is how a technological adoption by companies will transform not only your job, but the skills that you need and the tasks that you will be required to do. Put this graph up here as I really hope it helps you to understand the types of jobs that are going to be in demand by 2025 and the types of jobs that are going to be decreasing by 2025. Another consideration for you to think about is how are you going to incorporate ongoing learning into your career to make sure you're going to remain agile in both technical and soft skills, as new job functions will continue to emerge throughout your career. Prediction made by Dell Technologies is that in 2030, 85% of the jobs that will exist do not exist today. And the ability to gain knowledge will actually be more valuable than the knowledge itself throughout your career. So that's just a bit of background and insights into, well, how can now BGA student membership help support you in these areas of your career and the development of these skills along the way. So we understand that business skills play a vital role in preparing you for future employment. They give you the technical skills and the skills that you need to succeed in your professional lives. And while that's a vital aspect of a business skill, BGA believes that business skills also need to focus on the personal growth of their students. This includes cultivation of social skills, your ethical behaviour, your self-confidence, all of which form the foundation to be a socially conscious and responsible leader. This is where we can come in. So we believe we can play a significant part in providing you with the necessary guidance for self-improvement and continuous learning through BGA membership. By your business school being part of our network, they join more than 140 business schools throughout the world who all share the importance of these three pillars: responsible management, positive impact, and lifelong learning. So our commitment to these values is providing you with a free student membership for all the students that study at a BGA business school. Now, once you join as a member, you will have access to the content and resources, not only while you're a student now, but also throughout your career as well. Now, I mentioned BGA business schools being part of that network internationally. Here, I just wanted to highlight where these institutions are based. So to date, there are 63 schools in Asia, Middle East, 32 in Europe, 15 in the UK, 6 in Africa, 4 in North America, and then 17 in Latin America. Now, to provide a comparison of students from these BGA business schools, I would love to hear where you are joining from today. Dan, are you able to launch the first poll for me?
Yes, that's been launched now.
Thank you.
We'll keep that up for 5 or 10 seconds, and then we'll close that and I'll read out the results. So the results are in. It's pretty one-sided today. For the question, which region are you joining us from today? We've got 4% from Africa, 4% from Asia and the Middle East, 83% from Europe, including the United Kingdom, North or South America at 9%, and 0 from Oceania.
Great, thank you for that, Dan. So, that certainly helps to highlight where some of our BGA members are, and we also have a representation, certainly between all those different regions. So I hope that sort of provides you with some insights on, where are the business schools within the network, and, where are the BGA members based. So just in terms of what you can study or what our BGA members study. So just to provide you with a context here. So here what I've got is a word count that highlights the most common degrees studied. So the larger the word, the more students we have as members that study that program. And as we have certainly a few students listening in today that are not yet BGA members, Dan, can you please launch the second poll for us?
That's now been launched, and we'll give another 10 seconds for those votes to come in. Alrighty, we're closing the poll up now. To the question, what type of business degree are you studying towards or have graduated with? We've got 9% that have said that they're studying an undergraduate degree. We have 84% that are studying a postgraduate degree. We've got 1% that are studying another business related degree, and 5% have already graduated.
Cool. Thank you for that, Dan. Well, I guess that is actually quite representation then of what we've got on the screen. So that's sort of just a bit of insight for you in terms of, where BGA members are based and what our BGA members are studying. And I guess that's sort of one of the great benefits with BGA student membership is seen as we are an entire business school membership and accreditation body. Regardless of your degree specialisation, you're eligible for membership. So once you become a BGA member, if you have not already, you are provided with a unique login to what we call our Members Portal. And I've put a screenshot here. So this is a gateway for you to access the exclusive content and all of the resources. This Member Portal, it sits on our website. And once you register, again, you'll have access for life and you'll be able to keep up to date via our fortnightly newsletters. In terms of the benefits, I like to categorise these into 3 different areas: careers, awareness and insights, and networks. But let's start with careers. So this could be possibly one of the most important factors for those of you who are studying full-time and have aspirations for your chosen career upon graduation. Another area important to students studying is understanding their career plan and ensuring that they're going to be ready for a promotion by upskilling in various areas now. In terms of our actual proposition around careers, we have partnered with Abintegro to provide you with a bespoke career development centre. This gives you access to a range of tools to help build and improve your CV, help you with prepare with interviews, and complete online courses. Now, Ryan will be showing you various journeys into those areas soon. But hopefully I will just check if the video is going to work. Are you able to hear that sound, Dan?
I'm not getting any sound through at the moment, no.
Okay, Sorry about that. We'll pause that and continue on, but certainly Ryan will certainly explain more detail about our Career Development Centre. So I wanted to highlight today the importance of developing your skills, not only while you're in business school, but also throughout your career too. Even more so, I guess, with the rapid rate of future work that we're experiencing due to the pandemic. I wanted to share the screen so I think it gives a really great visual representation of the key skills needed from graduates today and tomorrow, and the balance between the soft and hard skills. In 2020, by looking at the list of the top skills outlined here by LinkedIn, this is a great opportunity to, when you are developing your CV this or next year, that you're able to demonstrate that you do know how to show various skills that show up on this list to enhance your employability. Then, if we compare, well, what are going to be the top skills needed from you in 2025? I guess what conventional wisdom suggested is that the digital and technical skills are the gaps in the future jobs market. However, according to this report that got released last month, the top skills required in 2025 are much broader than that. They're things such as analytical thinking, complex problem solving, and skills in self-management, such as active listening, resilience, and stress tolerance. Taking this into consideration, this is where we here at BGA can provide real value to you throughout our various professional development resources. One in particular is our webinar series. Each month, we host a webinar series by industry experts on a range of topics. This could be how to create a career plan, it could be work-life balance, how to get ahead in your new job, and also themes for developing your soft skills. The one I've highlighted on the screen today, I think this is actually going to be a really good one, possibly for all of you, which is coming up next week. Whether you have a group presentation coming up, if you have an interview for an internship or for a job, or you are delivering a speech to other students about an important topic, I encourage you to come along and hear from Sally's insights and take home some useful techniques to ensure that you can be a highly skilled presenter, regardless of what format that's going to be in. Each of our webinars, they usually take place once a month for a duration of an hour, and there is plenty of times for questions through this. So I highly encourage you to participate in our webinar series. If you aren't able to make the live recording, much like this, we record all of our webinars. So if you register, you'll certainly get that recording in your inbox. Now, I'm going to move on to the second pillar. So this is insights and awareness. So BGA is committed to providing you with research and insights to help keep you up to date with various trends in the business world, also in the recruitment market. This takes place in the format of a thought leadership platform in the members area known as Business Impact. To provide you an example of our Business Impact articles, here's a few screenshots here. As I mentioned earlier, so employers are predicting virtual recruitment will be continued to be integrated into companies' hiring processes post-pandemic. Something that we did during the Business Impact series in March to support our community navigate this uncertainty of how that virtual recruitment was going to work was we released a series and gaining insights from employers and recruitment specialists about what our members can do to succeed during a video interview or even a virtual assessment day. That's just one of the examples of how we can help you out with these thought leadership articles. And of course, those ones are still available for you to read in the members area and under Business Impact I'm highlighting here. In addition to these articles, we work quite closely with various partners to provide you with a range of discounts and lifestyle perks. This is achieved in two different ways. First one is our BGA book club. Each month, our team handpicks a professional development book and exclusively negotiates a discount. This usually ranges between 20 to 35% for you from a range of publishing agencies. And again, this is once per month and it's in the members area as well. Then secondly is providing you with various discounts and free trials on a range of companies, including the Mindfulness app, Financial Times, and The Economist, all to supplement your learning and well-being. There's certainly a few more here in the partner perks, however, they are under the travel and accommodation, so not quite as relevant now. Now, just conscious of time, so I'll move on to the third and final category of benefits. It's the networks and the community that we provide. Before I talk about this further, I would also like to hear your thoughts about networking. Dan, can you please launch the third and final poll?
Yes, that's now been launched. Well, we'll leave that up for about 10 or 15 seconds so that we can get all the responses in, and then I'll let you know how we've gone.
Thank you.
Just a few more coming in there. Great, that's now closed. To the question of how would you rate the importance of networking while at your business school, we've got 70% that have said that it's very important, 25% have said that it's important, 1% neutral, 3% not that important, and 1% saying that networking is unimportant. So I'll close that up now.
Perfect. Thank you, Dan. Well, great. I'm really pleased to hear that most of you do regard networking as, very important or important, even if you are a student. So we certainly believe now more than ever, there is an importance for you to start building your connections and growing your networks while studying, and this will set you up for a successful career. By networking with other BGA members, this allows you to become connected with students who are also going into similar fields as you. So while this might not take place in the usual in-person format right now, there are many different benefits of networking virtually. This might be saving time from not traveling. You can attend events usually at a lower cost than they're taking place virtually. And some of our members have actually let us know that they feel more confident in starting conversations online and at virtual events. So there's many different ways that you can certainly do networking or start to build your connections. It might be joining groups within your business school. They might be becoming an ambassador or a class leader, and of course, building your networks externally. And this is where we can hope to add huge value once you are a member if you are not already. So how do we go about this? The way we like to facilitate these external connections is providing a closed LinkedIn community group. Now, this group is only available for BGA student and graduate members. It's a great way to view who else is a member and connect with them, either by posting in the group or connecting with them individually. Another important aspect is our BGA events. When we're focusing on what events to provide you as members, we ensure that we're focusing on the three areas I've discussed today: careers, insights, and community networking. So with travel restrictions and social distancing rules likely to be in place for a while, all of our 2021 events will be hosted online. I guess the benefit of this for you is you can all attend regardless of where you are based in the world. We are still at the moment finalising the events for the first half of 2021, but this is due to be announced next month, so make sure you keep an eye out for those. One event, however, I did want to highlight is a new competition that we launched this year between May and September. Again, it was only available for BGA members. The BGA Future Leaders Case Competition provided members with an opportunity to showcase their business acumen by them solving a time-relevant business problem with a focus on sustainability and responsible management practices. This year, the challenge was about Nespresso and their recycling challenge of their aluminium coffee pods. So while this competition is now closed and the 4 finalists are due to present their business plans to a panel of judges next week, I just wanted to highlight this event to you as it's something also to be on the lookout for next May. It's a great opportunity for you to test your skills, and if you do make it to the finalist round, it's a great opportunity for your profile to be highlighted through our international networks and potential employers. And as you might have noticed on the screen there's a fantastic prize for the winner. So that's $3,000 US, which is roughly £2,300. So as a summary, by focusing on each of the resources in the 3 categories being careers, awareness, and networks, and showing you relevant examples in each, there's certainly different ways BGA can enhance your career in collaboration with your business school services while you're studying, but then also really useful when you graduate and start your career. Then finally, one last note from me is before you hear from Ryan about the Career Development Centre, it's just how to get in touch with us in the future. If you do have any further questions right now about the membership or any of those services you'd want some more detail, please put them in the chat function now and we'll address those soon. Alternatively, feel free to contact me directly or email our team and we can continue the conversation there. And we're also on social media. We've got a Twitter and an Instagram account set up for BGA members. So make sure you search us and you follow us. Thank you very much for listening. And Ryan, we'll certainly pass it over to you now.
Awesome. Great, thank you, Rachel. I'll just pass it over to Ryan now.
Perfect, thanks, Dan. So hopefully everybody's going to see my screen pop up any second. I'm going to take you through the Career Development Centre, as Rachel and Dan have already mentioned. So I'm going to take us on a few journeys through the platform. But before I do, what I'll do is I'll just give a bit of context on who we are at Adintegro and what we do. Hopefully my screen's showing there, Dan. Can you just confirm for me before I carry on?
Bear with me 1 second. You're selected as the presenter. There we go. Yep, we can see you there.
Perfect, awesome. Cool. So before I jump in, as a company, we're called Adintegro. We partner with BGA to provide the CDC, Career Development Centre, to all BGA members. As a business, we've been running for the last 15 years now, branded online learning platforms, focused specifically on career growth and career development, and professional skill development. So both career growth externally, so looking for your first or your next role, and also growing your career within an organization. I'm going to take you through the platform and highlight some of the areas relevant to both of those today. Our platforms are used by membership organizations like BGA. They're also used in a lot of education institutions to support students into work. And they're used by some of the largest corporates, so global banks and law firms across the world to support professional and soft skill development for their employees. What you find in the BGA platform is both sets of content. So the content for people looking to get into work and the content relevant to those in work or further into their career, but looking to develop. So I saw from our poll just now that we've got majority people studying postgraduate today on the webinar. And for somebody in your position, it's likely you'll find useful content from both sides of those, both in terms of finding work and in growth. Now, rather than just go through and click each of these buttons today and explain to you what's there, I'm going to take three key journeys. I'm going to first look at transferable skills, how you would find those, highlight those within yourself, and how you would develop those using the CDC. After that, we'll look at remote interviews and remote working specifically, so something very topical right now, as Rachel's already mentioned, going to become increasingly popular. And I'll look at some of the content and tools within the platform designed specifically to support both remote interviews and remote working. And then I'll finish with some of the core employability tools. So things to support things like building and checking a CV and finding a job, which is a core use of the platform for a lot of people. So without further ado, I'm going to start talking about what I would do in the CDC when trying to think about my transferable skills and how to develop them. And the first area I'm going to go to is within what we call career assessment here, and it's our strengths assessment. So this tool is designed for anybody first thinking about that set, your set of transferable skills, and looking to really, summarize yourself very quickly, whether it be in a networking situation or in an interview, or just articulating your strengths and development areas to yourself, so you can better focus on a career path that's going to suit you. And this tool is designed to help you do that. So what it does, I'm not going to go through all 50, but it takes 50 of the most common workplace skills, so team working, for example, and it asks you to categorize them against 3 different criteria. It asks you to firstly decide with team working, is this important or is it unimportant in my current or my potential career? Having decided that, I'm going to go with important. Do I enjoy it or do I not? So am I a fan of team working, or actually do I prefer working on my own? So let's put this as enjoy. So it's important and I enjoy it. Third categorization, how good am I? So am I highly proficient, competent, or does this need development? So it's all about self-analysis. I'm going to put this up here just to make my demonstration easy for myself. So I'm going to say it's an important skill, I enjoy it, and actually I'm very good at it. And I would move on to the next skill. You do that 50 times. Now what this system is going to tell me at the end, and if I use that team working example, it's going to tell me what my key strengths are. So those that I should be focusing on, both in terms of career decision making and when articulating, whether in networking or an interview, who I am, what I do, and what I can bring to a role. Equally, it might tell me if I said, right, solving problems is down here, not important, I don't like it, and it actually needs some development. It's going to tell me to avoid that skill ideally. So when looking at roles that involves problem solving, probably not going to be a good fit for me. And everything in between, it goes across 6 different categories. You get the full report at the end. It's a really good starting point for you to start to see, firstly, where your strengths are, and arguably more importantly, where you maybe want to focus some of your development based on where it is you're looking to go in your career. So having taken the strengths assessment, what I would probably do next is I would jump into our elevator pitch builder. Now that's found under the learning menu. Now what this does is it takes me through 4 sections and helps me articulate my elevator pitch myself in 60 seconds. And I can bring in what I've just learned about myself in the strengths assessment. There is a lot of learning content on here and what an elevator pitch is and how to do it, but I'm just going to jump into the tool, create my pitch. The first thing it's going to ask me to fill in is who I am. Now it gives advice on how to answer this. So there's some advice right here along the top. I could jump in and see some good examples of how I might write this. We've even got some useful power words to use in here, which are going to fit in nicely with what I'm trying to say. And you fill it in within the tool. You then work through the next 3, and I won't click through all of these. But the other things are going to ask me, it's going to ask who I am, what I do, what you do, what my USPs are, and what I think I can bring to the role. Having filled in all 4 of those sections, I reach the end of the tool and it lets me download that. So I can print it, download it, take it away with me. And that's your 60-second summary of yourself. Now, it's not necessarily about getting a script that you read off from in an interview or when networking, but it's to help you think about it and help you think how you can succinctly summarize all of these things. So next time you do find yourself networking or in an interview, you've got a fairly good, fairly well-prepared answer on the top of your head, ready to go. Now, the third section I'll jump into here when thinking about my transferable skills is a big section. This sits in what we call our e-learning hub. I'm going to return to this a few times on some of these other journeys. It sits under learning, professional skills, e-learning. The hub as a whole, you can see lots of different topics listed on the left-hand side here, has hundreds and hundreds of resources. What I've done is I've navigated through to our tag on transferable skills. Each of these tiles represents a resource. So it could be an e-learning course, it could be a written article, or it could be a video. They're added to all the time. As you can see here, just in the last month, we've had 2 new, one new article and 1 new course added into the platform. And you'll find a huge range in here. So transferable skills is a broad topic. So there'll be some resources in here which just talk about what these skills are and how to develop them. There'll be other resources in here which talk about, well, how do I transfer this across into a new role, which skills fit together quite well. So for you guys, as users of the platform, you can come in and find the resource most relevant to you. Now you'll notice as I scroll through these, that the topics are quite specific. It's not one big e-learning course on transferable skills, or even one big e-learning course on communication, for example. There's lots. We take the just-in-time learning approach to our content production. What I mean by that is rather than saying 1, 2, 3 hour long course to cover everything related to a topic, we try to break it down to as granular as we can across a section, for example, transferable skills, so that you guys can come in and just find the content that's most useful to you. To just like a just-in-time production method where you're only taking on the resources that you need to fulfill the job right in front of you. We want you to be able to come in here and find the content relevant to the exact thing that you need help with, rather than having to sift through big, long courses or videos for the 5 or 10 minutes of it that's actually relevant to what it is you need. With transferable skills, it is broken down further. So if you come across here onto the left-hand side, for example, I can go into career skills. I can find content on productivity, relationship management, emotional intelligence, personal brand building, both online and offline, as well as things like well-being. Or I could scroll down the left-hand side to our even more granular tags, where you'll find even more specific ways of breaking down this content, for example, planning or problem solving or project management, et cetera, et cetera. So that's my transferable skills journey, and I'm trying to be succinct. There's probably about 10 hours worth of content in total in here, just on transferable skills and soft skill development, which you are welcome to use as much as you like. It's completely unlimited. Now, the next section I wanted to talk about was remote interviews and remote working. So remote interviews, we've put a lot of focus on recently. You'll always see new content being added to the Career Development Centre. Not a month goes by where we don't add new content, and we do look to keep it relevant. We don't just pick subjects at random. So we've done a lot of work on remote interviews. Now, first I've gone into the e-learning hub and I've navigated to the remote interviews tag. And you'll see again, just-in-time learning approach. Do I need to know how to use Google Meet or Zoom? Or actually, am I worried about the positioning of my camera for an online interview? Or do I want to think about how do I handle a phone interview before going in there? So there's very specific resources in here. But as well as coming in here and learning, a really useful tool for practicing or building confidence with remote interviews is this, our interview simulator. So this also sits under the learning tab right here, interview simulator. Now, the way this works is we have 100 of the most commonly asked interview questions. Each one of those was selected by an employer. Each one of those has a video in here. Each question has a video in here from the employer that chose it, talking about why it's important to them, what a good answer and a bad answer looks like, and some examples of good answers they've heard in the past. Now, you can either go in and just browse those, or when we're talking about becoming more confident with remote interviews, you can go into a simulation, so a mock interview. I'm just going to go pre-built. You can select your own questions from the library in here. I can select to use my webcam. Hopefully this comes through okay. If not, I'll just describe. But I can come on here and I can practice answering questions. Assuming my webcam allows here. There we go. So that's me on camera answering my question. You can write some notes if you wish, but really you can record here. Why do I want to leave? So have I left my last company? Answer my video here, completely private to you. Nobody else will see it. And then I can move on. Having completed all of those, and I'm not going to make you watch me answer 8 questions here, you'll get all of your own recordings, only for you to see, right alongside the feedback video from the employer that chose that question. So for you, it's all about, number one, self-analysis, establishing whether or not you answered that question correctly. But just as importantly, it's just about getting confident answering questions on webcam, using this tool to see how you're coming across. You know, what body language are you using? Are you, like I was just now, sitting way too close to the camera? Therefore, maybe you want to reconsider where your desk in the chair is set up, whatever it might be. It's all about getting familiar with this process. And as Rachel's already said, remote interviews are going to become increasingly common over the coming weeks, months, if not years. And therefore, a tool just to practice and build confidence can be really helpful. Now, I mentioned remote working as well. So it's not just about interviews. Remote working, equally important. And there's a lot of challenges that come with remote working. Not just picking up a good Wi-Fi connection. There's a mental challenge that comes with it, especially for somebody not necessarily used to it, which a lot of people are now facing, situation a lot of people are facing, with used to being in an office. So in here, we're adding lots of content at the moment to support people when working remotely. And that goes from the tools you need, so thinking kind of more practically about a remote working setup, through to things like online meetings and presenting online and how to do that better, all the way to kind of health and safety and personal well-being when working remotely. So not just thinking about, right, how do I succeed when I'm working from home, but actually how do I, for example, make sure my work-life balance remains remotely manageable when working from home, when I'm working in the same environment that I live in. Or if I'm working across different time zones, or I find myself procrastinating when at home and kind of getting distracted and not being as productive as I used to. There's lots of content in here to help with that. And this, again, a bit like the remote interviews, is going to be a growth point for us. So over the next few weeks and months, you're going to see more and more content added into the CDC, all about helping people who are both remotely working or having to take on remote interviews. Now, moving on. I'll close down my webcam. I want to talk about employability, because that is a core function of the CDC. It's about helping people grow their career and progress within their career. It's where we started as a business, Ab Integro, and it's still something we specialize in. So some of the key tools in here, firstly, is around support with CVs. So the CV builder that I've opened up here takes me through 8 different sections: details, personal profile, education, work background, etc. I fill them in, and at the end, I can download a professionally formatted CV. Now, that's useful if you don't have an up-to-date CV. Some people might well do. But the other benefit of using the CV builder, especially over time as a BGA member, is it makes it really easy for you to keep your CV up to date. Now, we have lots of content which talks about the importance of keeping your CV up to date as you progress through your career. What the CV builder would do is, if I already have some work experience logged against in my CV, and maybe I've got some more, or maybe I've just run a project that I want to add into the skills section, for example, I could come in over time, add in new sections, and just re-download. Now, the system will completely reformat that CV and download it as a Word document, rather than you having to mess around with Microsoft Word, especially with a highly formatted CV, where adding in a couple of new paragraphs might have ramifications, which take quite a long time to fix. So hopefully you find this useful if you don't have a CV. If you do, another very useful tool, both of these sit on the CV tools, sorry, is what we call CV 360, which I jumped into here. Now, CV 360 is the logical next step once you've either built your CV in the CV Builder tool, or you have a CV and you're pretty happy with it already offline. What CV 360 does is it runs your CV through 58 automated checks to give you, firstly, just an idea of how your CV will read for a recruiter who receives it, what your CV is saying about you. But more importantly, it tells you exactly how your CV is going to be read by an applicant tracking system. So ATSs, applicant tracking systems, for anybody not familiar, are increasingly common, especially in large organizations who receive a high volume of applicants to their roles. So a CV sent through an applicant tracking system, or even uploaded into, for example, a public job board like Reed or Monster, is going to be run through an ATS, and it's going to give the person that sits behind that ATS a very short summary of you based on your CV before a human being ever reads it. And it's very difficult to know what the ATS is really going to say about your CV, which is where CV 360 comes in. So I've already uploaded one here. It's told me I'm at an overall score of 79%, which is pretty good. It tells me I've passed 56 of my checks and failed 12 of them. Now, what I can do is I can scroll down and I can actually see everywhere where I failed and what it's saying about me. So from simple things like in the file, my Wi-Fi plays ball here. This is going to load up properly in a second, but it can already see that it's told me that my name has too many characters. So the name of the document that I've uploaded exceeds the recommended limit of 24 characters. Good news is the age is up to date, something a lot of people don't think about. If the file is old, it will be automatically deprioritized in an ATS, but I'm okay with this one. And my size is good. But again, the size is too big, the file size is too big, something you might not consider when uploading it into the ATS. but it might well be rejected without you ever knowing that's happened. Moving down, some of the more interesting areas, for example, would be skills. So you're well aware of what you've written on your CV and what you want your CV to say about you. An ATS isn't necessarily going to summarize you in the same way. You'll forgive the loading here. I'm on a home Wi-Fi network and it's moving a little bit slowly. But what I wanted to show you here, which hopefully you can still see before it loads, is my skill dominance chart. So this is exactly what an ATS is going to tell the human being that sits behind it what you're good at. So it's already pulled out very clearly that my CV is saying that I am strong at admin. I'm not good at all at critical thinking and problem solving. So I've only got 2% being pulled out of my CV on that compared to 17% of administration. Now, that might be fine. That might be what you're looking to say, in which case it's good to know that an ATS is going to say that about you. However, if you're applying for a role which actually is looking for a lot of critical thinking and problem solving, there's a red flag that you're probably not going to progress in that job application with the CV as it's currently written. You can go back, make some changes, add in a few more keywords to your CV so that before it gets to a human, it's going to tell them what it is that you want to be said about you. I won't go through all of these. There's sections on language that would look at things like spelling and grammar, use of filler words, repetition across the CV. Structure would make sure that all of the different sections of your CV can be pulled out by an applicant tracking system. And content would even look at things like white space on your CV and whether or not there's a better way of laying it out. Once you're happy, you can of course pull out the CV or you can rescore. So you can rescore the same CV over and over again, which is going to give you an ongoing score history. So you can see the progress you're making with your CV until you reach whatever stage you want to be at in terms of a score before submitting it for a role. Which brings us nicely on to submitting it for a role. So there is a job search engine in the platform. There are lots of free job search engines on the internet, which is fine, and you can use those. The benefits of the BGA CVC job search engine compared to those that you'd find online is we, as a company or BGA, have no commercial incentive to have users clicking on a high volume of jobs, which is what all free job boards do have. So they put as many results as possible in front of their users in the hope that the lots will get clicked on and therefore they will get paid per click. We don't have that set up at all. The big focus for us when building the search parameters that work around our vacancies in the platform is relevance of search results. So you'd likely to see less results from our platform than you might get on a free job board, but hopefully you'd find much more relevant ones. It is a global job board, works across 52 different countries across the world. There are millions of vacancies in here and it's updated every single day. And you can set yourself alerts. You can set yourself an alert within here based on a specific search. I run a very vague MBA in London here. But what that would do is every time there's a new vacancy added to the platform that matches my job search, it would send me an email, letting me know it's in there with a direct link, bringing me straight back into the job where I can see information and apply for it if it feels right for me. So those are my three key journeys. The other thing I wanted to mention before passing over to Rachel to wrap us up and hopefully answer any questions is all of the content in here, which has proved increasingly popular for us around personal well-being. It's a challenging time for everybody right now, whether you're in education or in work or neither. And we have a lot of content to help with that. So within the career assessments, there are assessments to help you understand your own resilience, your control over emotions, how you manage stress, and how assertive you are. And there's also a lot of content in here under career skills around both personal well-being, so enhancing well-being, and that's not looking at just, how to manage your to-do list. It talks about things like the importance of diet and exercise and sleep on your own personal well-being, or thinking about your work-life balance, which I think my Wi-Fi is going slowly here, so I won't show you. But again, going outside of the just do better in your role, do better in your education, there's a lot of content in here just designed to support you personally, especially if you are facing a challenge right now in what are difficult times. I'm going to stop there, Rachel. I'm going to pass back over to you if that's okay. But I hope that's given everybody a bit of an insight into what's in the CDC and the breadth of content within the CDC, not just content to help you find a job, but stuff to help you throughout your career.
Thank you for that, Ryan. And that's certainly such great insights into, I guess, really typical areas that can support the BGA members. As I mentioned before, that the Career Development Centre is our most popular resource out of all the resources available to you. So I highly encourage you spend some time in sort of the next few weeks or months and really explore how that can help you depending on what your goals are right now. But I think we will have time for questions, if any have come through, Dan.
We've got none that have come through yet, but if anyone would like to submit a question, there's an option. It should be questions on the panel on the right-hand side there, and we'll just wait for some of those to come in. We've got one question in now. It says, is the webinar recorded and will it be shared at the end? Yes, this will be recorded and we will facilitate the communication of that recording over the next few days. And please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. Rachel's got our contact details on the screen there. Another question's come in and it has said, will the case competition consider group-based case competitions in coming years? I'll leave that one for you, Rachel.
Thank you. Yes, good question. So that is something we did consider when we launched the competition this year. However, I guess to make it quite easy for yourself, we kept this as an individual competition. And that's what we've seen with the entries this year. Everyone entered individually. And if you do make the finals, you go through and you present to a judging panel, again individually, and then of course you get to have that $3,000 all to yourself at the end of it.
Great, thanks a lot, Rachel. The questions have started flooding in now, so we've got another one. Thank you for all the information. How do I become a member? Are there any fees involved? That one's for you.
Thank you. Sure, so no fees involved, and that's what I talked about before. You know, our commitment at BGA is really to support our business schools and all their stakeholders. So you as students, part of how we do that is offering you a free BGA membership. How you become a member is head to, and we'll put this in the comments as well when we send through the recording, but if you head to our website, businessgraduationassociation.com, and click on the register button, you should have no problems filling out those details. If you do have any problems, please do get in contact with me and we'll manage to sort that out for you.
Thanks for that, Rachel. We've had a question that's come in that said, how about the video that Rachel tried to play earlier? We haven't been able to play it yet. So we'll include that in the follow-up communication after this. And we're really sorry that we weren't able to play the sound there, but that will be coming through to you. So thank you for that question. We've got one more through here that says, what is the pathway to CV 360? It looks like an excellent tool. Rachel, if you'd like to start that off and then just talk about the process as to how we can access that through the BGA member platform. And then Ryan, if you wanted to mention where we might be able to find that in within the platform there.
Of course, yeah. So when you log in to your BGA registration page, which we call the Members Hub, what you will find in the left-hand column is the Career Development Centre, and hopefully you'll see an access button there. So you click through to that, and it will be in what Ryan showed before along the top saying CV Tools, and that's how you navigate through to the CV 360.
I think you've covered it there, Rachel.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. One more in there. So BGA membership looks absolutely fantastic. The features you showed, would they be included as lifetime access once a BGA student member becomes a BGA alumni or graduate?
Yeah, good question. So I was really focused on, of course, the student membership today, as majority of you are still studying. So what we are committed to is, you know, not only for you to be able to use these resources while you're studying and, you know, looking for your career or developing your skills, but also throughout your career as well. So once you finish graduation or when you expect to graduate, your membership will just automatically keep on going, and you'll be an alumni member. So you'll have access to these resources for life. And the way we keep up to date with you with what's new and what's available is via our fortnightly newsletters. But you can also log into your members area anytime you want to access them there as well.
Great, thank you very much. We've got one for you here, Ryan. They've said that the question stands, is the job search a global function and can I search by company?
Yes to both. So global, there are a few countries it doesn't include, but I mean, we work with, where our jobs come from, to be quite transparent about it, is we work with a number of online sources, as well as our own kind of employer network, which we manage internally, which has hundreds of organizations who put jobs into our platform for our users. But 52 countries in total it works across, certainly all the continents we've referenced today in terms of people on here. And you can indeed run searches by company as well. So what I showed on screen was just kind of the basic search options, keyword and location. There's advanced search options. You can search by salary levels or type of role, country, company, etc. I hope that helps.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. That will do it now. We've got a few more questions which I will leave unanswered because we've just run out of time here, but we'll look to include those in the roundup communication that we'll send to you after this. On behalf of everyone at BGA, I'd like to thank you all for attending, and thank you very much, Rachel and Ryan, for a lovely, insightful webinar presentation there. Thanks all, really appreciate that. Bye now.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.